Let's talk a little bit about cutting one-way prints with the HuRTy. So you can use one-way prints. It works better or more efficiently, I should say, in some patterns or quilt designs than others. But you can use this fabric or any kind of one-way fabric or one-way print fabric with the HuRTy and any kind of quilt. You just may have a little bit more fabric waste than you would like. So let's talk a little bit through. So the most efficient way is if, when you look at the half rectangle triangle, if that particular fabric appears in both this location and that location of your half rectangle triangle, which means that when you're cutting, you can follow sort of our format for cutting up and down. Now, if you have a pattern like, say, the other side, where all of this, a print like that would go in one location, so like the bottom right hand corner of this B block, then you're going to have a little bit of waste of fabric, and that's the one that I'm going to show you. Otherwise, you're just cutting, you know, across the whole width. If it does go in just one location, like with the other side quilt, then this is how you would cut it out. Cut this piece of fabric as if it is going to be in this location in the other side quilt. So the first thing we're going to do is we need to make this angled cut. So you may have to think through this just a little bit. Okay, so we're going to trim at a diagonal, and since we don't necessarily need that seam allowance, we can slide it actually to the seam line, right to the edge, just so we can cut a nice clean edge. Now we did the same thing we were doing as if we're cutting and flipping and all of that. B start at the top, the arrow touches the edge of the fabric. We're just sliding it over a little bit. We want a nice clean cut here. And this piece here goes into our scrap pile. So that is going to be the nature of how, if this were being cut for the other side, it's a little bit smaller, so it's just sort of for reference. But if this is being cut for the other side quilt, we would want it to go in this location, so we want that shape there. So once again, flip top to bottom, align that cutting guide with the edge of the fabric, touch the arrow to the top, that way. Now we're going to flip it, and we're going to cut another clean line that is also going to go on the scrap bin. So I aligned the cutting guide so we can make sure that angle is correct, and then I slide it over. The seam line is an okay line to use for a reference. Then we cut this and put it in the scrap pile. Now you could use that for you know, like work on another quilt at the same time, or put some aside for like a scrappy half rectangle triangle quilt or whatever, where you don't care about the position of that. But if I were using this for the other side, this is the way that I would cut one print. This is the way I would cut that one. This is the way I would cut that one-way print. So we're going to go ahead and cut there. Then cut another clean diagonal line. So that's how I would do that. Okay.